Imagine being the son of a president, growing up in privilege, yet feeling the pull to prove yourself on the battlefield. Quentin Roosevelt, the youngest son of President Theodore Roosevelt, was just 20 years old when he chose to leave behind the comforts of his home and join the fight in World War I. In 1918, the war in Europe had already claimed millions of lives, leaving entire cities in ruins and countless families mourning. Quentin, driven by courage, duty, and a desire to honor his family's legacy, joined the U.S. Army Air Service as a fighter pilot, taking to the skies over France in fragile biplanes that faced deadly enemy fire every day. He was not seeking fame or glory. He simply wanted to serve his country, to demonstrate bravery in the face of danger, and to live up to the Roosevelt tradition of courage and commitment. Flying high above the trenches, he faced the constant threat of German aircraft, anti-aircraft fire, and the sheer unpredictability of early aviation. The skies were perilous, and every mission carried the weight of potential death. Yet Quentin pressed on, motivated not by the spotlight, but by a sense of duty and the knowledge that each flight was part of a larger struggle for freedom and peace. As he soared over the French countryside on July 14, 1918, history was about to mark a tragic moment. Engaging in aerial combat against seasoned German pilots, Quentin's plane was struck and he fell behind enemy lines, paying the ultimate price for courage, patriotism, and a commitment that transcended his youth. His story is not only about heroism but also the heavy cost of war, a young life cut short, a family mourning, and a nation remembering. Quentin Roosevelt's journey from the halls of the White House to the deadly skies of France encapsulates bravery, sacrifice, and the deeply personal toll of global conflict, making his story timeless and unforgettable. The story of Quentin Roosevelt begins in a world of privilege, fame, and expectation. Born in 1897 as the youngest son of President Theodore Roosevelt, he grew up surrounded by politics, history, and public attention. But Quentin was not content to live in the shadow of his father's legacy. From a young age, he loved adventure, sports, and the outdoors, displaying courage and determination that mirrored his father's character. As the world plunged into war in 1914, and later the United States entered in 1917, Quentin felt a personal call to serve his country, not as a politician or diplomat, but as a soldier willing to face the perils of battle directly. By 1917, Quentin Roosevelt had joined the U.S. Army Air Service, training to become a fighter pilot. His days were filled with intense preparation, learning to fly fragile biplanes, practicing aerial maneuvers, and understanding the dangers of early aviation. The sky was a battlefield where one wrong move could mean death. Yet Quentin approached it with determination, eager to prove himself as a capable and courageous pilot. Assigned to the 95th Aero Squadron, he flew reconnaissance and combat missions over France, facing constant risk from German aircraft and anti-aircraft fire. Each mission required both skill and bravery, and Quentin earned a reputation among his peers for boldness and commitment. On July 14, 1918, Quentin Roosevelt undertook what would become his final mission. Flying over enemy lines in France, he engaged in aerial combat against German pilots. The skies were tense, the risk immense, and the outcome uncertain. Accounts report that he fought valiantly, maneuvering skillfully and attacking despite the odds. But in the midst of battle, his aircraft was struck. Quentin was killed behind enemy lines at just 20 years old. His death shocked both his family and the nation. The Germans reportedly buried him with honor, leaving a wreath on his grave, acknowledging his bravery even in defeat, a rare gesture of respect in wartime. Quentin Roosevelt's death carried a profound emotional impact. He was the first and only son of a U.S. president to die in combat, and his loss resonated deeply with the American public. Families across the nation mourned, reflecting on the sacrifices made by ordinary soldiers, regardless of their social standing. His father, Theodore Roosevelt, was devastated but proud of his son's courage and dedication. Quentin became a symbol of youthful heroism and the human cost of war, reminding Americans that even the privileged and powerful are not shielded from tragedy. His story demonstrates the personal toll of global conflict, the courage required to serve, and the price paid for freedom. Today, Quentin Roosevelt's legacy endures as a symbol of bravery, duty, and sacrifice. His grave in France, marked and honored, serves as a reminder of the young lives lost in World War I through books, memorials, and educational resources. His story continues to inspire new generations to understand the personal costs of war. Quentin's life, brief but impactful, shows the courage of a young man who faced danger to serve his country. Remembering him is a tribute not just to one individual, but to all who sacrifice in pursuit of peace. His name remains etched in history as a symbol of honor, heroism, and the ultimate price of duty. Quentin Roosevelt's life, though brief, shines as a powerful story of courage, sacrifice, and the harsh realities of war. At just 20 years old, he faced the dangers of the skies over France with bravery that matched the legacy of his father. His death behind enemy lines was a tragedy felt by his family, his nation, and the world, a stark reminder that no one is immune to the costs of conflict. Today, his story lives on, inspiring us to honor those who give everything in service of their country. Quentin's legacy reminds us that true heroism is not measured by fame, but by the courage to face danger and the willingness to pay the ultimate price for duty, honor, and love of country.